And we're live. We're live like never before. We're live in this moment, 9/21, September 21st. The year is 2022. This is your life, motherfucker. La la la. La 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 la. Happy Wednesday. Yeah, man. How you doing, everybody? Marcus Conti reporting. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Happy Wednesday to you. Happy Wednesday to you. We'll pick up on this later on. And yeah, big day on Wall Street. Big day on Wall Street today. Going on. Not much in the way of breaking stories today, but I think the big story there is Wall Street is preparing. Jerome Powell is preparing to jack up the short-term interest rate on Wall Street, causing inflation theoretically to come down. And everybody's panicking. What are you doing? What is the Fed doing? Aren't they corrupt anyway? Aren't they money grabbers? The ultimate on Wall Street is, are stocks going up or are stocks going down? That's the main concern. And at this moment, all the actions by Wall Street seem to be going down. I want to explore this picture right here. Right, this is I think it's very relative. Coming out of the Queen's death, the Queen is officially in the royal vault at this moment. She is officially dead, historically and power wise. In fact, they do a ceremony when they before they lowered the Queen's body into the royal vault below the chapel. They actually do a ceremony where they break her reign of command. They break a stick and say, "Okay, you're done," and now you're just remains. But what's fascinating about what I learned in the monarchy, if you look at the picture, it's the beheading of a king for treason. Right? During a civil war in 1649. In 1649, back in England, there was some sort of civil war. And the then King, Charles I, was accused of treason by the parliamentaries. Right? There were two, apparently at the time, two competing factions: the monarchs, the bloodline, as opposed to the parliamentaries. And the parliamentaries, who controlled the laws, made up a bunch of laws that said that the then sitting king should be executed in public, chop his head off for treason. Now, doesn't it sound kind of, sort of familiar with what we go on with here? If there is someone in power, they're suddenly vilified and held up as a traitor, treason. Look at this traitor, off with his head. Hillary, lock her up. Right? Traitors. Right? Trump, he's a traitor. Lock him up. Giuliani. Right? It's I guess the point that I'm driving at and would like to know is, can history repeat itself? Can a great democracy, right? Weevil Girl says, "Wow, leaders being held accountable." Yeah, or was it? That's the point. Right? That's a good point. We look at it from afar and say, "Oh, a leader was held accountable," but upon further investigation, could it have been more of the parliamentary power willing to chop off the king's head to gain more power for their mission? Right? You always got to wonder. There's one side and then the other side, and then somewhere in the middle is what's actually happening. Does anybody deserve to get their head chopped off for voicing one's influence or opinion? I guess the answer is yes. Some people should be taken out of power, but in this case, a revered, beloved king of one side, only half the country loved him, and the other half found the reason to agree with the parliamentaries and chop his head off. But the end of the story is that he was raised to martyrdom, right, where he's a martyr, and he equated himself before he laid his head on the chopping block to Jesus dying for his people. Um, so fascinating story. Can history? There's also curiosity as to who actually chopped his head off. In the photo you see, or in the drawing, there was no photos, but in the drawing you see the man that is holding the axe. You can see his face, but in reality that wasn't his face at all. Or maybe, I guess it's a depiction of King Charles cutting off his own head. But the executioner in 1649 that chopped off Charles I's head was covered. Right? The executioner covered his face. They also, interestingly, had misplaced or didn't know the exact spot at which Charles, the beheaded king, was placed into the royal vault. Remember, he's royalty forever and ever. Even if they chop off his head, the same rules apply. They incur him in that particular chapel in England, Windsor Castle, and that's where royalty lies in the modern age. And but they didn't know where he was, and they accidentally found the body, the beheaded king's body. It's there. It's in Windsor. So interesting stuff. Why are the public so small in the picture? Do you think to show status? No, actually, according to according to the recollection of the people that were there, or some historian that wrote a book, the immediate surrounding were all opposition soldiers. The parliamentary soldiers packed in front, and the people were far behind, as if to not stop what was about to happen. So I don't know, but anyway, my name is Mark Conti, and then we'll look at the markets at 9:30. It looks to be looks like it's opening green slightly. Today is a big day on Wall Street. Jerome Powell and the Fed chair, and the Fed central bankers are set to jack up the short-term interest rate by about 75 basis points. If they go higher, the market is going to really tank. If they go lower, down to 50 basis points, which is less of a hike, we could see a rally upward. But the consensus on Wall Street is that they'll just keep going 75 basis points until they break the economy, really. That's what it is. So every day at 9 a.m., somewhere, somehow, we're live. Right now we're on YouTube. And if you'd like to join us every morning at 9 a.m., no notification necessary. Just show up on YouTube. If we're not there, come to the website, marcusconti.com, and right over here, the next live show, the link. Again, this takes you to YouTube. And if you miss all that, just come to the site and you could see the unbuffered, unedited, unchopped versions of the show. We're up to 45 of 100. Something amazing is going to happen at 100. I don't even know what's going to happen. And I'm running the show. PayPal, Patreon link. 45 of 100. Right? We're doing the Andy Warhol approach, where every painting every print is numbered, and then we break the mold, I guess. So here's all the links. We're on. We're broadcasting live every day on one of these fine channels, and the video will appear on Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute. The link to on Twitter, Facebook, Getter, Truth Social. All the links are right here on this live. So we're spreading it out. We're spreading out our love on a daily basis, right? This message of I don't know what it is. I guess truth, right? Are we still telling the truth here? Are we allowed to use the T word? Right? Certain factions of politics have vilified truth and saying, "Oh, truth. That means they're Trump supporters." Or something ridiculous like that. Right? So I took that out. This message of I took that out of my on my website. Not my website, but on my page of YouTube. I switched out truth for love. Love. Here, well, let's start here. Thank you, Haywire237, for this fine clip. Now, this is how you're supposed to. All right, there's bad music in there. I think that's ZZ Top, so I'm not going to play that. But I like this video. This is a bunch of good old boys at a rodeo, right? Rather than I'm not into bullfighting. I think it's barbaric, and the bull always dies. But here, you're making the bull have fun. Although the bull is irate, he's got a strap around his balls or something to make him fucking try to kick the thing off, right? Get off my balls, right? They do that. They tie a rope around the bull's balls to make him charge. But here you go. This is a safe way to do it. They got big balloons. The bull looks like he's having fun trying to poke some humans. The humans are having fun. Nobody is dying, I don't think. Right? There's no death. People are enjoying themselves, right? Everybody's having fun, right? This is wow, ouch. Right? This is the way you have fun with animals, right? Pet animals. Right? I hate bullfighting, man. I hate when I see it in Spain. Barbarians trying to kill the fucking, they ultimately kill the bull all the time. The bull always loses. But anyway, this is how we have fun as humans. We antagonize creatures, captive creatures, and that's what it is, man. So anyway, this is fascinating about human endurance and skill. Now, here's a gentleman. His name is Aaron Judd, Aaron Judge, a Yankee, who last night tied Babe Ruth's record for the most home runs in a year. All right, the record is 61, Roger Maris. Behind him was Babe Ruth at 60. Now, Aaron Judd has just hit 60 home runs and is one away from tying Roger Maris, two away from having the record forever, or at least until somebody breaks it. Now, the problem with this record is that Barry Bonds already hit 74 home runs in one, season, and he's not recognized for it because Barry Bonds is bad, is dirty. His blood was dirty with some sort of stimulant or something that made him hit the ball farther than everybody else, they say. But watch I always say about, I believe, in sports, if you've ever played sports, I've played hockey, I've played, baseball, basketball, just, for fun. I run, but if you had to pick one of the most difficult activities in any sport, right, it's got to be either hitting a golf ball, which isn't moving, or hitting a baseball. Now watch the artistry of Aaron Judge hitting a 96-mile-an-hour fastball with ease. Watch.
Fielders on the left side for Judge, and here's the 3-1.
Bang.
Drilled deep to left field.
Effortless.
There it goes. Number 60.
Watch it again. Watch it again. Watch it again.
Here's the 3-1. Drilled deep. Here's the 3-1.
Watch the ease.
Drilled deep to left. Here's the 3-1.
You see the ease at which this guy does it? It's like it's God-given. You want to tell me?
There it goes.
You want to tell me a fucking steroid can do it? I don't think so. But anyway, if you're a fan of baseball, Aaron Judge, a Yankee, is about to break Roger Maris's 61 home runs in one season, has now tied Babe Ruth. And it looks like he's going to do it. He hasn't done it yet.
50th home run. Now the Yankees are trying to win the game. That one's drilled to left field. Is it high enough? See ya! A walk-off grand slam!
All right, so that wasn't him, but Aaron Judge. So we'll keep watching that one. We'll keep watching and seeing if humans can hit the ball farther, faster, and more times than other humans, right? Competition. It makes you wonder. I heard I was at a talk the other day, and this is a good one. This is very brief. So I was at a talk the other day, right? And this woman who is a nun, sitting next to a priest, said that competition leads to war, and harmony and love leads to peace. And I said to myself, well, what about competitive sports, where the object is to win, right? Is our system of human endeavor geared towards war inevitably, right? We have sports. Football, one of the most barbaric fucking sports on earth, right? Competitive, or boxing, knock the other man unconscious, right? Should we, and what's the irony of it is that the Catholic schools that these two, a priest and a nun, were from, actually engaged in competitive sports. They teach competitive sports at the school. Should we eliminate competitive sports? Or should we make the competition not about winning, but about love? Who can play baseball with more style? Who can flamboyantly throw the football prettier than the next guy? Right? And then we all kiss and make up at the end. The competition is in who could be kinder. Right? Would that be ridiculous? Why are we playing sports? We play sports to fucking win, man, to beat out the other guy. But it does make you wonder that here's a couple of, diehard Christians claiming that competition, or testifying in their observation that competition leads to war. So why do we still have competitive sports if we know that's where it leads? Well, maybe we like war. Maybe war is necessary, right? Maybe war is what, maybe. I don't know. But here's Joe Biden. Joe Biden. All right, we're going to get into to Charles the First getting his head chopped off, and you got to wonder about politics, right? So here is the talking head, the puppet master. Not very good at it, but a puppet, I guess, being mastered. The young black female press secretary, so that all the blacks in the nation see a black and say, "See, we're moving up." For whatever reason, she's in there. Is making the argument that all the immigrants that are crossing over are escaping communism. Now, can anybody in the world kindly point to anywhere in the world where the 1970s version of communism still exists? You can't, because it doesn't. China is not fucking communism. They got a ruling class, right? Russia is not necessarily communism. It's a thriving, democracy for the most part. Maybe they don't elect the president, but do we really elect the president over here in America? Hell fucking no, right? I think I've just got banned. I'm going to get banned for saying we don't elect our officials. But here we go. So President Biden defended his management of the U.S. Mexican border crises Tuesday by claiming the record high illegal border crossings are because of people, quote, fleeing communism. Let's listen to the press secretary say it.
People are fleeing communism, as we have said, as you heard DHS say as well, falling authoritarian regimes in Venezuela, Nicaragua, and
falling authoritarian regimes in Venezuela. Where is it falling? What is falling? What regime? Maduro, right? Maduro. I thought Maduro Maduro is still in power. The president of Venezuela is in power. The only reason his regime was in threat of falling is because the United States under Trump and Pompeo declared it a fucking, a rogue nation and removed Maduro, hypothetically, and appointed that other guy. What's his name? Juan Guaido. You remember Juan Guaido? The appointed president of Venezuela. What happened to him? They should chop his fucking head off. But the point is that the opening statement that is being projected to the people of America is 100% false. Listen again.
People are fleeing communism, as we have said, as you heard DHS say as well, falling authoritarian regimes in Venezuela, Nicaragua, and Cuba.
Okay. They're not, I won't speak to Nicaragua or Cuba, but in Venezuela, the regime is not falling. It's thriving. Leave them alone. They're about to tap into the resources of oil, in this time of energy crises. So it's just factually incorrect. You've got the president of the United States echoing down the echo chamber, trying to scare people to say that immigrants are crossing the fucking border because escaping communism. So therefore, America must offer them sanctuary. It's incorrect. That's not what's happening at all. They are arguably fleeing places that, weren't conducive to their upward mobility, right? I'm leaving. I don't like it here. I can't make my mark. I want to go to America, right? And they immigrate, right? That's not escaping communism, right? There's a lot of happy, pleasant, wonderful people enjoying their lives in Venezuela, but
are causing a new migration challenge across the Western Hemisphere. So
why don't they just why did I gotta lie? Why not just tell the truth? Why not just tell the truth? Big business wants cheap labor. They want it now. They want to put pressure on American workers to work for less, work harder, more hours. And then they get everybody sick again. We'll have another pandemic. Everybody will have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, stressed out to the max, and then some minute virus will come along and kill a bunch of them. And then we got a new pandemic. And everybody bend over for the jab and put your mask on and stay 20 feet away from everybody, right? So it's just factually incorrect, right? So there's this incredible spike at the border, and I just hold that note that your current administration in America is accusing communism, blaming communism for the influx of immigrants at the Mexican border, right? And also, it should be noted that only 35% of the migrants came from socialist governments, Cuba, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. I won't call it authoritarian because that's not really what it is. So where's the other 65% of people coming from? Right? It doesn't even say it, but somewhere, right? So there's Joe Biden, President of the United States, invoking communism. Here he is again. Putin sets partial mobilization in Russia, threatens enemies. So it looks like Vladimir Putin is, according to the reports, is set to mobilize, I believe, another 300,000 troops and finally end this debacle in Ukraine and declare it Russia once and for all. Right? Now, you knew it was going to happen, but why is the United States continuing and its allies continuing to pump weaponry into Ukraine when they know this is about to happen? They're creating the conflict. That's what I'm talking about. Right? A king gets his head chopped off because one side says he's a bad guy and the other side says he's a good guy in times of civil war. Right? Who's right here? Is it this guy? Or is it this guy? Right? Who's going to lose their head? Right? Joe Biden, as a note, Joe Biden was the only visiting dignitary to England during the Queen's wedding, funeral. When the Queen died and everybody came to the funeral, Joe Biden was the only one who had his own car shipped in. The tank, the tank that the president drives around in. Right? Everybody else got on the fucking coach and took the bus like everybody else. But no, Joe Biden had executive privilege, American privilege, where he had his own. He's so bubbleized, so removed from society that he can't even be with others because of the threat of somebody's going to kill him. Right? Putin too. Putin wasn't even there. Right? So these guys are moving further and further away from humanity. God damn it. But there it is. Putin, he's up in the ante on the border. Up in the ante on the border. Ding, ding, ding. It's 9:30 New York time. It's 9:29. Let's have a look. It looks like the futures are going to open up. Dow futures set to open up 145. One more minute. And I think we got the print right now. It's 9:30. Ding. Ding-a-ling. Okay, so wow, NASDAQ down. Oh, my God. Hold on a second. The NASDAQ opened down one. No, that's not right. That can't be right. How is the NASDAQ? The NASDAQ is down? Oh, no, it's not. That's incorrect. That was an incorrect print. So NASDAQ right now, NASDAQ up 42. Dow up 308. No, Dow, excuse me. Just let my brain kick in for a second. Dow is up 154. NASDAQ up 44. S&P 500 up 21. On the big board, we've got Apple up $1. Amazon up 4 cents. Google up 14 cents. Meta flat. Microsoft up $1.60. Rivian up 2 cents. So it looks like we have a flat to slightly green open, right? Because this guy right here, Federal Chair Jerome Powell today, as I said earlier, is set to jack up the interest rate, short-term interest rate for banks, which affects all interest rates. Hold on a second. The high-power tools in the suburbs are out. Fucking people come out in stereo with their weed whackers. Hold on, I can't hear what I'm doing. Boom. Get out. Turn that shit off, man. Turn off that racket, goddammit. So I don't really feel like talking about the markets today. It's bad. This I'd like to talk about. Veterans committing suicide at 37% higher rate than the VA, Veterans Administration, claims. Imagine that shit, right? It ponders the question, does might make right? Right? War and the side effects of war kill more people than any virus, any modern virus today. Right? Fact. Suicide. So veterans committing suicide at 37% higher rate than the VA actually claimed. So the article suggests that the VA is actually fudging the numbers. A new report by a suicide prevention group has found that veterans are committing suicide at a 37% higher rate than the Department of Veterans Affairs claims. The exhaustive study, which was 4 years in the making, examined suicides. Look, fucking veterans, people that pledge to serve till death do them part, right, are killing themselves over, I don't know, the atrocities of what they did. Right? You go into a nation like, I don't know, fucking Syria or Afghanistan or Iraq, and your instruction is to, wipe out all these people in front of you. And then one day you realize there were women and children and people fleeing the violence, and you shot and killed them, and it dawns on you that through your authoritarian regime was telling you, do your fucking duty. That's authoritarianism. You want to tell me fucking Venezuela is an authoritarian nation? Who has the authoritarian nation of Venezuela sent to a foreign country and killed 1 million people? Huh? Where has Venezuela done something even remotely close to what the United States does routinely, historically, over and over and over again? It doesn't exist. The idea of this threat of communism and socialism is a fabrication. It's not real. It's different ways of governance in different places. And because it doesn't suit us, we vilify it and say, oh, yeah, it's communist. They want to take away your freedom. Venezuelan people want to take your freedom, which is ridiculous. And I guess, I mean, any soldier with his head not up his own ass would know that. Oh, my God, I killed all these people in the name of defending democracy and wiping out communism. But when I opened up this history book that they tried to bury from me and wasn't taught in military school, I find out that it wasn't true, that I was wrong. And I can't live with myself. I killed those kids. I killed that mother. Britain, you know, she was holding her child and I shot her. I shot them. Tyranny, right? We're the fucking aggressors. We did it. We do this. We're doing this. Psst, hey, we're doing this. So if you don't think history repeats itself, it seems to indicate that it does. So although Abraham Lincoln, good analogy, Abraham Lincoln wasn't necessarily killed by his own people, he was assassinated by opposition forces. I don't think anybody really disputes that the assassin for Lincoln, who was overseeing a civil war at that moment, was killed by an assassin from the other side, right? So it does happen in modern history. That's only 1800s. But if we roll the clock back to 1649, in England, the execution of Charles I by beheading leader of a nation, the king, occurred on Tuesday. Just listen to the statistics. The story. It's fascinating. Beheading occurred on Tuesday, the 30th January, 1649, outside the banquet house of Whitehall. So somewhere outside of a banquet fucking house, there were people inside eating, and they dragged the king outside and chopped his head off, and then threw the head to the fucking hungry soldiers who wanted the blood of the king so that they could be immortal. True stuff. The execution was the culmination of political and military conflicts between the royalists and the parliamentarians in England during the English Civil War, leading to the capture and trial of Charles I, the King of England, Scotland, and Ireland. Again, on Saturday, the 27th January, 1649, the Parliamentary High Court of Justice had declared Charles guilty of attempting to, quote, listen to this. This is what his head was chopped off for. A belief that he had. Quote, upholding in himself an unlimited and tyrannic power to rule according to his will and to overthrow the rights and liberties of the people. And he was sentenced to death by beheading. Now, doesn't it sound familiar what the last House of Representatives and some of the Senate said about patriots, converging on the halls of Congress to voice their opinion about election fraud in America, January 6th. Right? Doesn't it sound similar that they tried to vilify Trump as engaging in treason for for, right? But where in a larger sense, the party of AOC and Joe Biden said that Trump was overthrowing the rights and liberties of the people by doing such an act. But the other side says, no, no, no. The charge was to preserve the rights and liberties of the people. So you see how this could lead to removal of power? In the old days, in 1649, they chopped your head off. But today, we try to impeach you. We try to remove you from office. You see how the dynamic is the same? That are we in a civil war? Right? Did politicians line up in numbers, in mass, and effectively get Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, for lack of a better term, the King of America, impeached? Yes. Right? And that's exactly what Charles got his head chopped off for allegedly trying to do. Now, in full honesty, I wasn't there. You weren't there. Nobody was there. Was this an act of holding a corrupt monarch guilty, or holding him accountable for what he did? It's all in the interpretation. It's all in your perception. In the final analysis, he was ruled as... Look, this is a great quote, too. So listen to the gruesome details. Charles spent his last few days in St. James Palace, accompanied by his most loyal subjects and visited by his family. Right? He was taken to a large black scaffold constructed in front of the banqueting house, where he was to be executed. A large crowd had gathered to witness the event. Charles stepped onto the scaffold and gave his last speech, declaring his innocence of the crimes of which Parliament had accused him. The crowd could not hear the speech owing to the many parliamentary guards blocking the scaffold. But somebody recorded it. Charles gave a few last words, claiming his incorruptible crown in heaven. Right? As he put his head on the block, he waited a few moments, and after giving a signal that he was ready, the anonymous executioner beheaded Charles with a single blow and held Charles's head up to the crowd silently, dropping it into the swarm of soldiers soon after. Now that is some fucking political shit right there. Right? They chopped the guy's head off in public and threw it to the hungry wolves. The execution had been described as one of the most significant and controversial events in English history. Some view it as martyrdom of an innocent man, and the Restoration historian described it, quote, this is fascinating, a year of reproach and infamy above all years which had passed before it, a year of the highest dissimulation and hypocrisy, of the deepest villainy and most bloody treason that any nation was ever cursed with. One side vilifying the other, a piss fight over politics, a non-event, something that one side accused a king of harboring in his heart, attempting to uphold himself higher than the people. That's what he was beheaded for. And ultimately, he sided with Jesus and said, I'm a martyr. I die for the people. And that's how history basically, recorded it. So there he is. I mean, there he is on the chopping block. That's my right. So that's how he did it, right? He laid his head on the block, and some jackoff executioner chopped his head off with an axe in one fucking sweep. So anyway, man. So if you think that that sort of thing is remotely not part of our evolution, that it can't happen again, I think you'd be wrong. I think that executions happen all the time. Remember, in this modern age, Saddam Hussein, the king of Iraq, right, got his head chopped off. They captured Saddam Hussein under the guidance of the American invasion, trapped him, had a makeshift trial where, of course, he was found guilty, and they walked him into the fucking hanging pit and put a noose around his neck, dropped the floor out, and reporters there said they reported on hearing his neck snap. That happened that happened under our fucking leadership. That happened. We made that happen. Was Saddam Hussein a bad man? I don't know. He wasn't causing much trouble before the Americans entered. Iraq was doing fine. Had 3 different Shiite fucking groups running the place in different areas. There was harmony there. But the Americans said, no. You can't take Kuwait. You're a authoritarian villain. You took Kuwait. We want the oil. Fuck you. And we invaded Iraq on the George Bush Jr. Right? So I ask you again, is it barbaric what happened to Charles I in England in 1649, where they chopped his head off for harboring a belief, some sort of belief that was not agreed upon by most of the people? Yes, absolutely, it could happen again. Right? Saddam Hussein's people didn't necessarily kill him. Would Saddam, ask yourself this: would Saddam Hussein have died by hanging if it were not for the Americans? I think the answer is clear. No, he would probably still be in power if he didn't die there. Or they just get some other fucking puppet to do it, right? So anyway, so there you go, man. Thank you for joining me, and whether you agree with me or not, I love that you're here, and thank you everybody for joining me. We got Vinny D Martini in the house. RT with Clovis is here. How are you? Zoot Cooter, motherfucker. Steve Zrofsky is here as well, and Weevil Girl. Thank you for being here, Weevil Girl. Love Weevil Girl. So have a happy Wednesday, and everybody else that's lurking, loyal opposition. So anyway, Zoot Cooter, Trump was impeached for exposing the deep state's money laundering scheme in Ukraine. Yeah, he was, and what happened? The Democrats immediately sided with the villain after they impeached Trump for siding with Zelensky, and they get rid of Trump, or he gets quote voted out, and then enter fucking Zelensky again as a champion of the people. See how they switched that one? You'll do as we say, and we'll give you billions of dollars to shut the fuck up about Joe Biden and his fucking kid taking millions. Right? That's what they did. Right? Joe Biden and his son, Hunter, quid pro quo Joe. Right? Makes you wonder about treason. Makes you wonder about the nation you live in. Makes you wonder, man. Makes you wonder. It makes you wonder. Peace, everybody. Marcus Conte reporting.